Hello and welcome to This and That. I'm Dave Lees.
And I'm Jonathan Byron. I'm back home with the vases. Hi.
Back home. People were very upset last week.
They should be. They should be.
This is the skating lesson. We are going to be discussing everything going on in the skating world right now. So if you are new here, please subscribe below and smash that like button because we need validation. Okay, like skaters needed more than just cardboard cutouts. Okay.
Right. So that means I want Alexa's dog to like my video.
Yeah.
Did the dog get a cutout? Okay.
Jonathan, you're back. When can we talk about where you were? Are we, I don't even know.
I was doing a project. I think I'll be able to talk about it soon. Okay. But it was with the Food Network, and I'll just leave it at that.
Okay. Mm-hmm. All right. I'm ready to go. I would like you to was it one episode or two episodes that you lasted last time?
Two.
I like having a routine. I like getting into things. But I didn't get invested last time because I had an inkling that I could figure it out. That maybe it didn't go so well. So I
correct.
This time
perhaps
I'm more invested in this project.
Yeah, I feel like you could be in whatever the project was.
You'll get more Instagram subscribers?
Perhaps. I have to say that was kind of a letdown last time. How little it did. But I think because when you're on the show so briefly, there's a limitation. So.
Okay.
Yeah. I'll keep you posted.
Lots happening this week in the skating world. It feels like not many competitions.
Right.
But behind the scenes, there's a lot happening. And I wanted to kind of get your take on it because you deal with singing and opera and performance. But in the skating world, there are kind of two realities going on. There's the rest of the world that many countries are clamping down already. Mm-hmm. There's the buzz that Sweden is very apprehensive, predicting that they will be canceling the World Figure Skating Championships. Because if you think about it, in March, how many months in advance do people need to prepare if they're going to be out of training now, right? What kind of situation we have. And then in the US, they're trying to plow ahead with the national qualifiers. And then it becomes a conversation of what's the point? Why are we doing this? What is happening? And there's lots of drama going on. So I'm curious what you think, because why do you have a nationals to just have a nationals? Or is it all expense and no return on investment? Are we keeping kids going? What is the motivation? I think that this is something that a lot of skaters are experiencing right now.
Well, so I'm intrigued. So we had the ISP version of competing, right? Where we were seeing people in their individual rinks doing proctored sort of competitions at certain times. And then we have the Skate America experience. Now, obviously, as a viewer, the Skate America experience was far more enjoyable because it felt the most authentic. However, there was so much rigmarole getting everybody there, quarantining everybody, doing all of that sort of stuff. So the question is, do you just optimize your chance for success and just plan more ISP type style competition? I don't know. If you're Mitch Moyer, what are you doing? Is that who the decision falls to?
No, it's the board of directors. It's everyone. So they have moved to a situation where when they were in Vegas, they actually had another event that was a Team Tara versus Team Johnny event that will be on the Peacock Network in a couple of weeks. And it is kind of like a team they flew Alyssa Liu in, which is curious because there were skaters there, which is, you could be a little salty about it, right? If you're they didn't pick the pairs or the dance teams, and they're our best disciplines. So, or at least the dance are, consistently, besides the men. I thought that's interesting that the way that they did it, but it's really just they're trying to get the skaters money and competitive outlets. So I think that that's good.
Right.
There's no perfect, fair, equitable way of doing it for everyone, but they are trying to keep these skaters in. But it is getting to the point where they're going to have these national qualifiers, and one of them is in Norwood, Massachusetts. And because those rinks are all shut down in Massachusetts because it's such a red hotspot, the rest of the states that would go there, some of the rinks are saying, well, you have to quarantine for 2 weeks when you come back. We don't want you in the rink. So the rink is essentially saying, we don't even want your business for 2 weeks if you go there. And a lot of people are supposed to go there. So there's the whole thing like, well, you can go there, but what about when you come back? And it's that.
Well, and who can afford that lost time? If you really are on the trajectory to go to nationals, you don't want to lose those 2 weeks after you've just qualified for it.
Because they have another event coming up now. People in Massachusetts are really upset. Like, because, so this is the rink that didn't alert people when there were COVID cases, allegedly. Not really allegedly. They didn't alert them. Right. So the other rinks in Massachusetts are all closed. Now, there's been some nuances that they have worked out because remember, this is like US figure skating's hub on the East Coast, essentially.
Right.
And I don't know if they helped finance the rink or not. I would love to know these details because they've made it, because the competition is there. Obviously, this rink is in the red because they just had a huge construction expense, right? That they were not anticipating going into COVID, right? When this happened, they've been pushing to keep this rink open. And that's why they had all of these campaigns going on last weekend. So now they've made it so that this could be a bubble for people. So say you are a Mark and Peter student and your rink is closed, you could go and train at the Skating Club of Boston. But certain schools may have emailed their students saying, well, we don't want to go. And they ostensibly the excuse was because they were not the most explicit about their COVID situation. But if you're another rink, do you really want to have your kids train at the new gorgeous, glorious, beautiful training center?
And never come back.
And never come back. And they do have the Letovs there who always have a very big team. So that drama is very real in skating right now.
Okay.
Like 5-alarm fire.
Okay. It's so interesting because we know this like huge history about the Skating Club of Boston. It's always had like such an integral part of the history of US figure skating. But in recent years, it seems to be very booming, but not so relevant at the highest competitive levels, would you say? Or is this mainly like a junior level skater and lower level ranked seniors that this is affecting there?
Well, now that they've moved, the Letovs have moved there from Texas, you have Hannah Harrell, you have their dance teams. We don't have officially where Tara and Danny are going. Obviously, Jim took them to Skate America. There's also the Finster teams. They're trying out with Mino and Sand right now. So you have to kind of look at where everyone goes. It's becoming a hot spot rink. The Hayden at Synchro team now practices there. So, I mean, it's going to be a very utilized rink, especially once COVID is over. It just,
well, and it seemed interesting because they almost seemed to lose some momentum when Mark and Peter splintered off and it was kind of getting diluted. But if they all start honing back together, it could be a real force, eh?
How do you think Mark and Peter feel about training?
I think you know how Mark and Peter feel about it. Yeah.
Amazing.
Their method is in danger.
I love the whole situation. I don't love the whole situation, but from afar.
The complexity of the situation, is remarkable.
It's interesting because Massachusetts has a certain number of cases, right? But if you look, there's going to be an event. Okay, so people are really focused on this event because they think that it sets a precedent. I don't think it sets a precedent at all. Okay. My thing is that I think that all of these events, it's hard. Figure skating, people live in a bubble. They're going to hold out until the very end. And I get that, right? You're also dealing with maybe not the most educated population, right? I look at it as a week by week situation because these events are not all the same weekend and when they're happening, right? There's going to be an event that's in Fort Wayne, Indiana. Their COVID cases are already in the 3,000s for some days. New Jersey is back to being like between 15 and 1,600. We had a spike another day. It was like 1975. And obviously some cases don't get reported all in the same day. But if you look at the way the graphs are moving, we're moving into a problematic situation. And yes, we have ways of treating it better, the disease, but it's still moving to a situation where we're probably heading on to lockdown, as Great Britain just did, France, all these countries.
Right,
So,
right. And like we see, like each thing gets canceled more and more. You know, first it was Canada, then it was France, and then it was Europeans. Like, I mean, it's only a matter of time. And like you're saying, Sweden has world championships up on the block.
Yeah, so the cricket club is closed down this week because they had 3 cases of COVID. So they shut down to Lysol and clean.
So I was intrigued. So tell me what you were talking about last week, that you feel like perhaps something about the temperature of the ice arena makes it even more susceptible to spreading.
Well, they said that the virus likes colder temperatures.
Okay, which I did not realize. So obviously it makes skating rink not the ideal place to be.
That's what I've read. I'm not an epidemiologist. I've never pretended to be. I don't know. I just know that I work in healthcare and I produce a program that's about health education. And I just have, the narrative has shifted from month to month about what the conversation is. And the conversation shifted to being about like things we can do and being safe with COVID and how things have improved, to how to mentally prepare for a second quarantine. And that's a very different conversation to be having, and like what's better and what's the reality. And it's an interesting situation that they were talking about, how one of the biggest problems is that even if this disease is more treatable, if you have a lot of people in the hospital, one of the biggest issues is, what about all the heart attacks that are going undiagnosed, undetected, and all of the strokes? And those people don't want to go to the hospital, and maybe they're like more susceptible to passing away because they're not getting treated with healthcare. So it's just an interesting time that we live in with, like,
I mean, it's interesting. So if you foresee, and it sounds like you do foresee, like a complete lockdown in our future, does this mean limitations on travel and training, or does this mean the full-blown rink is not open?
It could mean either or.
Yeah, because it's, if you left it down to, it was only, for instance, when I was just filming, we were doing daily COVID tests and everyone was grouped and huddled together. So I feel like if a training center like the cricket club or something had everyone together doing their testing, could they stay open and do ISP style competitions moving forward safely? Or is it the fact that the rink is open at all?
So they could. And I think we're going to get to a point where they're going to have that discussion of, is that even possible for nationals? a couple ideas that have just gone through. I think at this point, the ice rinks have already taken such a financial hit for round 1, right? If there is a round 2, think about the lost revenue, the prolonged that you're not recovering that amount of money, even though prices have gone up at different places and the different financing situations have changed. If you move that, are these rinks going to survive a second quarantine? And that's what one of the Russian articles was a month or 2 ago, which was an interesting thought about what's going to happen to some of these rinks. There was a rink where Frank worked in that allegedly closed because the owner was out of the country and they never melted the ice, and they were paying for it to be frozen in the desert for so long.
For nothing then.
For nothing. And that rink isn't coming back. They're selling it. So you think about that, like, oh, what is going to happen to some of these rinks?
Yeah. Well, and because again, a lot of them don't have, I was rereading the Scott Hamilton thing, and everybody's in the dorms right near the rink. Like, it feels so like a campus. It's so not the case for a lot of these rinks. So I also don't know how you can create this sort of like isolated bubble.
And how could you do that in the day of safe sport?
Oh dear my Lord. Gosh. Yeah, dear Lord. Yeah. Yeah.
It's already a slow process. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, and people may have more information, but you're right. Like, it needs to be implemented almost now, but how difficult when each day is totally different.
Yeah.
Because then also watching, now the thing we were watching was in Minsk, right? In Belarus. Again, looks like everything's totally normal. Just the occasional person in a mask. You know what I mean? It's like such a stark contrast.
And yet the situation with COVID is not good in Russia.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
It's...
And I didn't even know with the protests that have been happening in Belarus, how this was going to go in Minsk, but it seemed like it was uneventful.
Skating will always happen where there is a way. I mean, some of these countries will have a major advantage going into the Olympic Games, but I do think we're getting eerily close to the conversation of will the Winter Olympics be pushed back till 2023? Because they already said, and I think this was written in pencil and not in pen.
Okay.
The Olympic Committee already said that if the Tokyo Olympics had to be moved back after 2021, that they would be canceled.
Right.
But think about it. That's an Olympics of lost revenue for how the whole funding goes by ad sales from NBC, right? So if you're going to lose it in 2021 and then not have it in 2022, and then you're moving those to 2023, you're going to get to a point in time where you're thinking like, what?
And they do it so far in advance, Dave, right? Like, because haven't Paris and LA already committed to the next 2 summer games? So it's not even like they can just postpone it all the way.
Would they move it to like do the summer in 2022 and then the winter in 2023, and then it would just be like the 2-year in between the Olympics, like they did with 92 and 94 for the summer. So it's 02 and or 22 and 24. I don't know. Is that a conversation? Because you have to think about, if you miss out on all of these Olympics, the repercussions of the funding for these governing bodies is extraordinary. So
right. Yeah, it's a little bit crazy, huh? Because again, for skating, we're coming up on that point. Like, when do you think you, as an Olympic eligible athlete, kind of need to hone in on that? I would say by the Worlds the year before, like, I need to know our trajectory here.
Think about starting.
Yeah.
So Yuzuru Hanyu trying to get the quad axel jumps like this, right? You start to push it out another year, it's the same thing with Simone Biles. It becomes less and less likely that you could train your body to be peaked at that point in time and injury free. And
because with the gymnastics, like athletes, wouldn't they be in full tilt right now?
Oh, I think it's extremely difficult. I imagine it's very similar to 1980 when people were telling them we're boycotting, we're not boycotting. I imagine every other day you're having to fight there's going to be no Olympics, there's going to be an Olympics, and in the US, it's so political, where in the rest of the world, it's not as political. I mean, I talk to so many people who think that if Tuesday goes one way or another, the country will either be shut down or open. But I think that science is science.
Right.
And
that's where you differ than some of your compatriots.
I'm actually more in the middle than but I think it's the response to it, because I think we're going to have to respond appropriate.
Right.
Look, we have not been in a lockdown situation in December in actual cold and flu season, so that's a huge difference than what we did before. So I don't know.
And just like personally, on a side note, for me, what made it possible the time before was that spring was coming.
Yes.
So at least there was like some sort of like ethereal hope that was happening in the world, that things were getting brighter, things were blooming. Like, you lock me in my house when it's like dark all the time and it's like da 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 da. I'm going to need some Russian competitions to keep me occupied, like, dear Lord.
So I think the Russians will be the last ones standing. We don't know what's happening in China, but I imagine they've been.
Now, you posted a video on Instagram of Tracy Wilson and Brian Orser talking, to the people competing at Cup of China. Is that what that was? Or they're for their projects that they
have a business relationship with the Chinese Federation. I noticed we didn't get one of those videos for Skate America. Not that I recall. I didn't see one, Jonathan. That is
funny
so
that
Canada. Okay.
Okay.
How come they didn't talk about how America's Ski America, like US Figure Skate, wonderful organization. We love going every year. We miss it. I didn't see that video from Tracy Wilson.
Mm-hmm. She's a staple of our nationals now. With
That's why she's only my silver medalist in terms of favorite Canadians.
Well, it's still a step up from that bronze in Calgary, I guess.
Sandra is my one true, that she is. No, I love Tracy. Love. But where was our Skid America video, Tracy? Okay.
Yeah, we're here too. We need your love as well.
We gave you Jason Brown. Okay. Like, come on, Tracy. Oh.
But if she's a part of giving us those 2 Jason Brown programs this year, then I'm all right with it.
But I think Scary Karen Preston may be our third. I think she needs more kiss and cry moments because I hear she's real blunt and real and our kind of girl.
Okay. Well, we loved her when we visited 92 Olympics again.
Also, was Marie France Maleficent for Halloween? Because that, I mean, she's Quebecois, so she's like in her own category.
Yeah. But, correct. But she has that beautiful coloring. It would probably really work for them.
But I find her beautiful in an intimidating way, where I find Sandra and Tracy beautiful in an inviting way, where you just want
in a warm, welcoming way, 100%.
Marie France, it's like a cool distance from afar. You're like,
that's right. You still know your place.
Yeah.
You are there to admire only. Yeah.
Absolutely. Right. I mean, we love her, but I don't.
It's a thing. It's a mood. It's a mood.
I think it's just her vibe. Like, it's also fabulous, but it's like a high-end fashion magazine in real life. I don't.
And you know what? Guillaume kind of encapsulates some of those same qualities. It's interesting. Yeah. Not necessarily her other teams or even Papadakis, but yeah, he kind of embodies that as well.
Speaking of divas, I have a Galina update.
Oh my gosh, Dave, I hope this is going where I hope it's going.
So I have skated this week.
How's the ankle feeling?
The first day was really rough.
I bet. Stiff?
Like painful.
Like actual pain. Okay.
And I actually didn't skate until Tuesday. A whole situation happened last weekend. I couldn't find my keys. I didn't make it to the Edge Club. It all worked out the way it should. So I had I taped at my ankle, the whole deal. And I went, and the first day it like pain, like doing crossovers, and Galina was just like, it's just because you haven't skated. I'm like, I don't know if that's why it's hurting, but
yeah, like a soreness or like a sharp pain,
like a combo deal of like a sore pain, right?
Okay.
But she never once asked how I was doing, by the way.
Because you took your time.
We did. Like, no, wait.
Because how long were you off the ice for then?
2 months.
That's a long time.
She like restarts from zero. Like we restarted from zero, like reworking my stroking and my cross just the way she wants it. I'm like, this is probably the most valuable thing of our lives.
Exactly. Like, the chance to reset and begin at the basics.
Also, I lost a little bit of my posture with like just being off and then my ankle not feeling secure. So it was like good to work on.
Well, I would imagine if you're on the balance of your foot a little bit differently, it's going to reach the knees, it's going to reach the hips. And then by the time it gets up to the torso, it's all over the place. Yeah.
So she had a few jams.
Okay.
At one point she was like, she always says, look, I am not an American coach. None of that, how are you doing? No. Never accused you, Galina.
Yeah.
Do you bow to your coach at the end of voice lessons?
I sure don't.
So my other coaches know, but you bow to Galina and Victor at the end.
Isn't that interesting?
Johnny at certain points in his show, and even when he finished the 2008 Nationals, he like bows to them.
And did you know, I thought that was like a Johnny-ism. I thought Johnny was just being extra.
No, you all do it. So when I went to bow, and I bowed the way Johnny bowed to her, and she goes, you bow like a woman. This is the Galina bow. And I believe that this is how Victor bows. We have to check the video. Arm. You kind of pivot your left foot, bring it in. Arms behind the back. Like that. Okay. That is the bow.
Okay, so that you take the arm that's up and put it behind you instead of letting it come down.
Yes.
Interesting. Twist. Okay.
But is that not like the next level? It's just these little things that she does where you're like, oh, I'm a polished queen now. And then we were talking about like we were working on my spin and I was trying to explain to her like what I thought I felt. And she was like, shut up.
Oh, she's not interested.
When I pay you for a lesson, you can talk.
This is old school. This is old school. Now, are you able to learn that way? I have to have a seat at the table. I have to be a part of the process and be talking about it and processing it as I go. So sometimes that like I am silent and just absorb, I don't know that I absorb it as well.
It's a don't speak unless spoken to situation.
Okay,
She also
fair enough.
enjoys being a diva. Like she really enjoys it. Okay, like you just have to like understand that this is her world and you are now just a passenger, right?
Welcome. Yeah. What a thrill for you to be there. Yeah.
Like everyone comes up to the rink. It is like she is the queen of Ukraine that like is in, and people come up to her like I heard Stephen Rice being like, I see Galena. I'm over.
She has arrived.
And he'll be like, I met your dog. You met my dog? How wonderful. Yes, very smart, very, very smart dog. Oscar, yes, okay.
It's just the gift that keeps on giving, this
Oh my
personality.
God.
Little did we know. I have to say, like, her Kiss and Cry, she had animated qualities, but I would have had no idea that caricature was underneath.
Well, she's also speaking in Russian sometimes, so you're like missing it,
Right.
right? And Victor just has dealt with this his whole life, so he just says nothing, right?
Right.
So I tried to ask him because she has this great nuance when she's coaching that I find hysterical, is that she will be like, what I would recommend, as if it's a recommendation, as if it's a topic for discussion.
Right, as if it's open for interpretation, yeah.
It's not.
Right.
Don't get it twisted. What I would recommend. Like,
Here's what you will do. Okay.
so then yesterday I called her because I was going to tell her that I did an edge class, and I also wanted to ask why Plashenko's coach David Ofdish passed away, because I couldn't find the information about it. And I didn't it seemed sudden and he seemed relatively young. So I've never heard that he was sick, but you don't know. I'm very busy. What are you? She's like, I'm cleaning my chandelier. And I was like, be careful. Like I'm imagining her like in a dining room, like maybe on a step ladder.
On a ladder, yeah, exactly.
No. When I build house, I pay extra $3,000. I have beautiful chandelier and it lower like 10 meter. Like my own Phantom of the Opera situation.
My own. That's what she needs to. You need to get to that house. You need to house sit for her and reenact a Phantom of the Opera moment in the foyer.
I thought I will have made it in life when I can have my own Phantom of the Opera situation. It's like now a life goal. We are learning so much that you need to.
Right now, you're just putting candelabras on a keyboard, but next level is to get the chandelier in action. Yeah.
The chandelier with the ceiling that's high enough so that it like. Jonathan, that vase is shit. Where is your chandelier? That is.
I can tell you, it's more than what she's saying she put in, but that's all right.
That was for the motor. Okay.
Okay. Got it.
Don't get it twisted. Okay.
But because I have to say, I'm surprised she's doing it herself. I would have thought she had a person that did that for her.
I was surprised as well.
Yeah.
But then I thought maybe she.
But maybe it's fun to flip the switch.
Oh,
Yeah.
Lots of mysteries. Okay.
That's right. As long as it's not the chandelier and clue, that one comes crashing down in a scary way.
She told me the other day that she has an all-white carpet in her master bedroom and a pair of slippers that she only wears on that carpet so that she can keep a white. All diva. When you know someone that has all white anything, they are a huge Jenny White Lexus. Okay, like loves white.
Well, or it's about that perfectly clean.
Yeah, J-Lo,
sort of
only to sit on white. Correct, right?
Well, wasn't there a Barbara Streisand thing with that, with the microphone?
White Michael, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, are you seeing the common thread here?
Yeah. Okay. Particular.
All white carpet.
Particular.
And a pair of slippers that she only wears on that carpet, and Oscar is taking them and eating them. I mean, this is just
that then someone so particular can let it go so awry with like an animal. That's very funny.
He's fine. He is, look, that dog has more outfits than you or I. Okay.
Amazing.
So yes. Okay. But yes, I'm getting sad about the season because we were supposed to have a Team Lambiel exhibition, or a Team Lambiel competition, which they were the only real competitors there. Right. And then it got canceled, and now we don't get to see them. We did see a glimpse of Shoma Uno.
And man, does he look good. I was intrigued to get your opinion on this. Now, we didn't really see too much jumping, but like just the ice coverage, the speed, the knee, it was like, oh, right, I forgot how good you are.
He looked incredible. It made me miss him so much.
And everyone that was like trying to get out of his way respectfully, there's nowhere to go. He takes up too much ice. There was nowhere you could be on that ice that he wasn't going to fill up.
It was so like,
yeah.
I love this YouTube channel where we can get little glimpses.
Yeah, because we've been seeing some Rika quad attempts also.
Yes.
Yeah.
And yeah. Now, I heard that they're moving away from programs and more to focusing on the jumps for when there is a season. So that's interesting.
Almost makes sense. So they're choosing to get ahead of it. They're like, whatever. We're not even going to wait for this information. We're just going to hone the skills that we talked about. You could.
I feel like no one's getting out of condition, but I feel like people are making the shift to, okay, we are going to get ready for when we need to get ready. And I've heard that in Canada. I've heard that in several places where they're still in nationals, but it's kind of like an unspoken thing.
Well, that's why, and riddle me this, I saw the post from our friend Gabrielle Daleman.
Yes.
And saying that she's no longer in the Miss Canada competition because she's going to focus on skating. And I thought, what skating is that? As every competition seems to be evaporating.
So I had two thoughts.
Okay.
Neither one particularly positive.
Fair enough.
Is she afraid that she's going to lose the pageant?
Could be. That's a skating mentality going into it.
But then I thought, maybe she's not self-aware enough for that. Then I thought, is she playing politics with Canada because now she has to prove that she's not more focused on her pageant career than her skating career?
These are things one has to wonder, yeah.
I thought, Gabby, you'd get more Instagram followers from the pageant. Think about it.
I would think so, and quite honestly, she could have won, I bet.
We have nothing to do during this quarantine. Come on, being in a pageant with that backstory, I'm riveted, okay?
And with all of her experience in press conferences and stuff like that, like, I feel like she could have run away with the whole thing.
I know. What would her talent have been? Can they?
Well, remember, she's in the part that doesn't do talent.
Oh.
She's in the Miss Universe track, and they don't do
She wanted to wear, like, the bikini.
Correct.
I mean, I respect it, because that means that your abs have to be, like, really defined without being too scary.
Mm-hmm.
But I would like to see Gabby in a competition. I imagine her on plastic ice doing a triple toe to Celine Dion.
Or tumbling. I bet she's a good tumbler.
She could
tap dancing. Do you think she could hoof?
Yes, I think she could tap dance.
Yeah.
Or the singing is where they all go wrong.
I know, and so that's what she would be.
Even if someone is a good singer, it feels basic when you're Miss America and you sing.
Well, there's limitations also with those tracks and the time limit and how much you can really give. Like, yeah, it's a tough ask.
But it's always, how good are you at the singing? Right. If you're Vanessa Williams, by all means,
please sing. Yeah.
Sometimes the snow does come down in June. Okay. Like, love you forever. I mean, I really think they need to update the talent. We could have photoshopping lessons. I mean, come on, that's relevant to the Miss America. They are all social media stars. Okay.
It's true.
Yeah. So I did miss the Zach Donahue.
I was going to ask you about it. Because again, seeing him last week, I was like, man, he does know how to skate.
He does. My ankle was really swollen on Wednesday, like Tuesday night into Wednesday. And then this skating mom told me, she's like, you know what you need? The Chinese herbal plaster patches. And I'm like, what? I got them from Amazon.
Oh.
Okay. I think it's a 50-50. They do help the inflammation.
Okay.
They're not as much of a miracle cure as some people claim. When they said you need that Chinese plaster, not gonna lie, sounded a little bit racist. I don't know.
Yeah,
Like,
it seemed wrong. It didn't taste right.
no,
Yeah.
when Fleur told me that I needed ballerina tea and it was laxative tea, it did say ballerina on the box, but
Yeah, that's tough.
that was dark. Okay.
Yeah, that was a bold move.
It smells a little bit like Tiger Balm. And then you feel like, oh, it gets hot and there's like pain because it is like, they said that's inflammation being a. But I have to say,
have some pineapple juice. Okay.
No, Eastern medicine's a little bit different. When I was in China, they had like killer mosquitoes, but they had this green stuff that they put on mosquito bites and like the pain just like went away. And I don't know why we don't have that in America, but it was incredible.
No kidding. Yeah.
So,
Anyway,
yes, that was just little cultural differences. So,
okay.
but I heard Zach's class was very good. I heard that they did a lot of like crossovers and yes, people enjoyed it. So now let's focus on the skating that we have witnessed. First thing.
Yes.
Nathan Chen, quad axel in practice. We both saw video.
Yes.
Which it's not allowed to be posted yet, but then Jacob from Delaware also posted that it existed, which is how everyone has been sliding into my DMs trying to get it. Show me the money, baby. No. I think it looks possible.
That's the thing. We were talking about this, like the attempts we have seen in the past. They look like, a first approximation of some sort or whatever. But this scene, I have to tell you, just seeing that air position and seeing 4.5 revolutions in the air is very exciting.
It was like 4.25, right? Like he was a little
yeah, fair enough. But just like the overall aesthetic of seeing that was pretty exciting. And again, like when we were talking about even Amber Glenn's triple axel, we're like, we see that this is on the way. Mm-hmm. I can see this working. And that's how I feel about this. I was like, this could come to fruition.
But imagine if they cancel Worlds and Nationals, he'll have that much more time to practice it and get ready because he doesn't have to worry about doing programs. How many a day can he do?
Because if he was doing that around a time in which he was competing, I would think you have to have a sense of confidence even attempting that on a practice, because otherwise it could go so awry.
Yes.
And you would have sacrificed the whole trip, the whole quarantine, if on that one you had a wonky landing and you've taken yourself out. So I think it's an indicator that he does feel pretty confident about it if he was just trying it in an open practice.
Then what are we seeing from User Han? You're like, what is he doing? Does he have people in Japan who help him?
Right.
I imagine he's been working on those quads all along.
Well, so remind me, when we've seen his quad axle attempts, how would you define how they looked?
I think Nathan's looks closer.
Okay. In rotation, height, just the whole thing.
But we're basing this on a video in last December. We don't know what his looks like now. Right?
Because the one in December, it was just the landing was just cheated, and then...
I mean, I have to like study it, but I don't think it was fully rotated, was my recollection. So, but you're basing on something so many months ago. It could be entirely better. It could be the same. It could be
they could have ditched the whole idea and they're trying something else. Yeah.
How's the quad lutz? How's the quad loop? Like, what is he doing? I'm sure he's doing something. I also heard that he is kind of the Michelle Kwan situation where he only practices so long per day to save his body, which is also interesting that he's not.
And that's one of the rare instances where I would trust that athlete who is so in tune with their body through so many things that he knows what's enough then.
Yeah.
I think that's the luxury of letting these champions become old enough to like steer their own ship. Yeah.
So I thought that was interesting. we also saw the quad lutz triple toe from Kolyada, which we knew he could do. And Misha has been very quiet because when they ask him about the quads, he'll say, well, we need to put the quad Salchow in. But they did not mention the quad lutz. But we've seen the quad lutz before. And then it came back in a big way.
When you asked on Instagram, what would you give this in plus GOE? I'd be like, I have to go to the ISU, change the rules, and give it a plus 10,000 because that is the most stunning thing. Like we knew that year on the Grand Prix when he landed the one, when it finally worked, it was the best one and it was totally worth the wait. And that's how I feel about this combo. Nathan may do it more regularly, but never has Nathan's looked like that.
So he's someone where if the Olympics are moved, I think it could benefit him.
Yeah.
I think he's obviously peaking at the right time. The reason why I think it could help him especially is because his problem, yes, he's adding jumps into his program, but his problem really seems psychological more than anything. As it was for a long time because originally he was a consistent skater, then he started popping everything for about 2 years-ish. Then
and the pressure became,
Then he had the sinus problem, which was that also a mental reset? Who knows? You know how skating fans love a medical problem to blame everything on. Comes back, has a family emergency that somehow requires him to go train with Alexei Mishin, and all of a sudden he looks incredible. But when we saw him in Minsk, the short program, as much as I don't love that music and think it's a bit hokey, the short program was maybe the best quality program he's ever delivered. Landings.
Open chest, stellar arms. And even though, yes, the music is what it is, but even on those camel spins, like the way his hand, it reminds me of like some sort of jellyfish floating to the surface or something. There is not one thing out of place.
Yes.
It's a performance that music doesn't even deserve, but yet it gives it to it anyway.
Then you see him in the free. Tight skate, nervous skate. Not, on one hand worrying, but on the other hand, I thought it was interesting that he went for everything and rotated everything, even when it was off. Because in the past, I imagine he would have been popping.
Right.
Wazoo. Remember the year that he did the Carmen and I was like, this is the best skater if he rotates. And you watch him and he's fighting that. So maybe he's never going to be the natural competitor to go out but it is like a process and he's with a very smart coach and it seems like they're handling getting him in competition and these building blocks, putting it together over time.
I feel like there's a plan.
Yeah.
Whereas before he would go out there and you're like, here's the kid that has it all. Let's see if he can focus it all together today. And the answer was usually no. And this time it seemed, even though it started to go a little awry at the end, it's like you're saying, I think the decision to commit to going for each thing, even when he knew it might not work, was an encouraging sign of fight. Because the triple axel gets like height, like I just can't believe, and he did still do the 2 quad toes, like, and these turnouts and these like kind of sit downs, that's very different than an implosion of pop, pop, pop.
Yeah. So I got in a debate with Igor Lukanen about him. Igor was like, his old coach was a very good coach. People shouldn't blame their old coaches. But I'm like, yes, there's good coaches, and then there's Alexei Mishin. Like
they clearly brought him up in a very good way. The skating skills were always great. There was always this, but a change doesn't mean it was wrong. A change means he's now ready. He needs probably a reset just as much in the day-to-day training, and you can apply those new things with someone new.
Yes.
So, and it's the most elegant material, the irony, the most elegant material I've ever seen him give.
And they played the song when he was in the Kiss and Cry, and the explicit version.
Yeah, I mean,
only in
well, that's sometimes when you go overseas and you see like certain American T-shirts and they say these like ridiculous things, and you're like, I would have Google translated that, but you know, we do the same. Every girl with like a Chinese like symbol tattoo that says like mouse or something.
Yes. I don't know. Would you? No, I'm getting a little bit concerned for Tuktamisheva.
Politically or with the skating?
Both.
Yeah. Triple axel, the opening one in the free skate especially, just boop, Nothing. Just so easy.
One in the short, a little bit
slow.
Yes, a little bit cheated in the short. Her triples are a little bit under rotated, but remember there was like a month or two ago, there was that piece, I linked to it about Alexei Mishin, him training the 3 or 4 skaters. And she looked like everything was struggled. It almost looked like she had a back issue, but when you're an older skater coming back after quarantine is harder. So, and she's doing these multi-rotation jumps and you're off for so long. You kind of wonder if it takes, like the kids bounce back.
The place she's come from then is remarkable how fast she's gotten it together. Yeah.
I noticed that her spins look like she's spending more time on them. The positions are still poor, which she can't really change.
I think those are inherent limitations that aren't going away. It's the speed, Dave.
And I don't think either program music choice is really her. And
they're more charactery, and I think when they go more charactery, like there was a very much like an Asiatic theme going on in the free skate, and then this, she's going, is it Spartacus? Is that what she's doing?
Yeah,
so it's very kitschy almost, and so then it almost takes away, I think they think it takes away the requirement to be elegant, and you're just schmacked in. I don't know if that's that. No.
She has like a Mariah Carey hand. It's the Elizabeth.
She's got the one
of a hand. Yes.
Yeah. I think it's already becoming a meme, as well it should.
When you tell me, yes, okay. The one that intrigues me the most, Darья Usacheva.
I think she's at the Olympics, Dave. I think she's going.
Yes. Again, she's another one that has had consistency nerve problems in the past. We had one big mistake here, which I was like, when she went for the triple last week, I was like, triple double. You do not have to do that.
Unfortunately, because yes, I understand like going for it no matter what, but the first one was so off even from the takeoff, you knew it just wasn't going to be possible.
And it's that same Yulia entrance. It's always the one where they do the spiral and they go deep around the hockey rink into it. Like, oh dear.
It's not enough time to sort of like mentally get into it or something. I feel like they're panicked and rushed and trying to keep up.
It almost looks like a momentum thing. And they're trying to keep it on a straight line, but your body's moving this inside the circle. I mean, she's staying straight. And that's because they do it for 3, I don't know.
I'm going to say it, and I don't know if this is a popular sentiment or not, but I find her in many ways more elegant than Shcherbakova.
Yes, because she doesn't have the foot problem. Shcherbakova is the most beautiful skater, like rhythmic, like, that they pick the rhythmic gymnasts like half on their face. Let's be completely honest, right? Like she has everything, arms, body, expression until the ankle. And she's got these huge feet and they don't point or really move. And it's like a sickle foot that... And it's the kind of thing where we talked about it a bit when she was younger and people will be like, it's a young skater, don't attack, don't be mean. But then when they don't address it, it becomes this situation.
Because I have to say, Darьya pulls me in much more at this moment because there's a different kind of, like one of those first big booms in the opening second of the Romeo and Juliet. You feel like emotion surging through her hand when she does it. And it just pulls me in a totally different way.
She does a lot of 3 turns in a waltz rhythm where she's like expansive and the chest, like everything is out, like da 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 in that portion. And she has some real skating skills compared to some of the other girls, where she's a better glide. She's not the best at the multi-rotation jumps, but I don't know if that's going to be what wins the Olympics. Look, I don't think she's the favorite to win Olympic gold, but I think if she gets there, I think it's based on her overall skating, her overall polish, lack of weakness, expression, spins, footwork, performance, skating skills. And I think she's going to have a monstrous triple axel when she does it.
Yeah, because the double is looking like beyond, especially compared to her teammates,
Yeah. I think if she can get a monstrous triple axel, that's a conversation changer, right? That's
And I have to say, watching her on the Junior Grand Prix over the last 2 seasons, we've seen inconsistency and darkness envelop her, and I still felt no one knows what's going through her head except for her, but she gets real dark when there's a mistake. Like you felt that heaviness when she skated off after the botched triple at the end, but like consistently, she is moving towards more steady performances. Even though there's still hiccups here and there, the overall pendulum is swinging in a major way from where it was. I see the momentum working for her.
I love her. I just love her. There's just something about her. I like that she has performance, but it's a little more understated and she's steadily improving. And she seems like she works hard and is a fighter. There's something about her. I like her. I like the overall.
And it reminds me of Kolyada in that she takes up space. She's taking up all of the space, so she creates this bigger image on the ice in a nice way. Where some of the that clutter thing we see in IJS keeps it in and small, and she's just so expansive. It's really nice.
No, I love my daughter Anna Sherbakova, as you know, but the foot is really distracting. It is really distracting.
Yeah, it's not sparkling. The presentation.
She does the Zagitova thing where she's leaning over more and more before she goes into the jumps, and it just worries me about the back injury.
Because I think this was the event where she fell out of the spiral a little bit even. It seems just like she's not centered and focused on the right body deportment things in those moments.
But there is an inherent musicality. There is an inherent communicative quality on the ice. It's like back and forth, pleasant. Mm-hmm.
And now with the quad flip instead of the Lutz. I mean, what did you think about the quad flip?
I'm curious, why are we doing the quad flip instead of the quad Lutz? Remember last year the quad flip was iffy.
Was the no-go, yeah.
Remember the quad Lutz had all the edge drama. It's so funny how things change so quickly. Like last year, it was all the drama about that edge, and now we're not seeing it. And I was really wondering what was the Russian strategy behind the whole Q thing and all of that. So very interesting.
Indeed. Now I'm very intrigued because now we're supposed to see Kostrunaya this coming weekend.
Yes.
At stage.
I know. It's becoming like a holy grail situation, right? Like I just wonder, are we going to see Kostrunaya and the triple axel again? Is this going to be like the Lu Chen Lemaire program? Like, where is it? Or that like amazing, or when Paul Wiley bombed the short at 91 Worlds, apparently he had this amazing free that we've never seen. How good was it? We're basing it on reports. Does it exist on German TV? I messaged the German archive, got nowhere. You know, the whole situation, right?
Okay.
Where is this free skate? Okay, like did his mission change your life? Are we going to see Kostrunaya back?
Right.
The video of her last week, and because her fans are so next level, because Plushenko tries to use her, right, in all that. If you notice, Trusova's in none of the videos when he will show what's happening at his rink. And we only see these like group classes where we're all trying spread eagles and stuff like that. We never see Trusova. We do see Kostrunaya. And at one point she went over to him and like made him turn off the camera, and the fans still posted it. We did see like a huge triple sow. I forget if it was a triple sow or triple toe. This triple sow or triple sow. But it was like easy, huge. Made me think like, okay, she's getting back.
She's back in it. Yeah. It just seemed everything was rushed when we saw the test skate. And so I don't know if she just rushed to show up.
Loomer too. She's a diva. She likes to keep us guessing. Apparently she's the most talkative of the group. Never stops talking. Just a girl after my own heart. Yes.
But it'll be intriguing because I felt like she was doing it on her own time. You know.
Remember, so in the beginning of the season, it was Elena Ililich who was with Trusova. But then Trusova saw her like working off the ice with Kostrunaya and said, honey, you are now. So now Ililich is working with Kostrunaya. I mean, if she's just adding next level diva antics to her with Hot Sergey, that is very interesting.
Also, I meant to ask you when, yeah, go for it.
Because Plushenko seems very into Trusova. Like they share like a personality. You know how we've always said that Medvedeva and Eteri share like a fighter personality? Trusova and Blushega, they have this like guts thing where her going for the triple axel, triple toe, you can tell like he loves it, right?
Well, now hold up. When we saw that practice footage, I didn't know she could jump that high. It was sensational. I thought the height she got on that triple axel, because I think it was, what did she do, triple axel, triple toe, or something like that?
Yeah. Now from the angle, it's a little hard to tell if it was really rotated or not on the triple axel, but it looks awfully close.
That's the thing. It's right there. And I think he must get excited because he knows he can take her there. Yeah. I think like as an educator, like when you know, you're like, oh, if I just tell you what I know you're going to do this. And I think he's got that excitement around it.
Because her quad lutz, they keep posting videos of her doing it cheated, where we remember, Dave, this is Galina. Jump, cheated, right?
Yeah, but the quad toe now does look very transformed to me.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I don't think they're going to need 5 quads to win the Olympics in 2022.
Right.
You're going to need big, huge, beautiful quads that rack up the GOE, and that can give a major advantage.
And the toe can do that for her.
Yes, I do think you'll need a triple axel in the short. That's what it looks to be for next season. So when we were looking at like Kaori, Sakamoto, Wakaba, Gucci,
Kira,
Naya, maybe
Rika rather. Yeah.
Rika. Yeah, I think that's the real
advantage that can be had. Yeah, totally. Because where do you think, like thinking about Daria then, I was like, what does this do for Balgeva?
Well, she has done the triple axel. She's done it. I think it's, look, I mean, this is terrible, but like, it's like, who's growing in the right ways? I mean, that's kind of the unfortunate, disturbing conversation that we're moving into with ladies skating in that.
Right. And like you say, if it's 22 versus 23, you're changing the whole lineup for some countries.
Yeah.
Not for others. Do you know what I mean? I don't know that Japan's lineup will change that much. I don't know that the US lineup will change too much, but the Russian lineup could change entirely.
Yeah, I do think that the US could change. I'm nervous about intermediates, novice skaters, who's going to drop out from juvenile intermediate. There could be a lost generation of skaters, especially in the US.
Yeah.
Where are you going to keep funneling money when there's no competitions and you're not seeing a return on investment?
Right.
What about those parents and the kids that are 6th or 7th in intermediate that become champions later on, right? That stick with it. So those are the ones that I hope keep training.
Right.
But yeah.
Now, speaking of juniors, I watched our girl. How do you say this? Petrosyan?
Adelia Petrosyan, right?
Petrosyan. It almost sounds French, doesn't it?
Just like Armenian, right?
An artist. When she did in her one program, I think it was the lawn, she just like does one of these moves or something. But the way she does it, I'm like, oh, okay. All right. I'm in. Whatever you're selling, I'll buy it. But she's one, and we'll talk about it then because I also watched, is it Mark Lukин?
Yes.
Yes. So it's interesting, this conversation about junior women or girls, I don't know the appropriate term, versus men or boys, whatever. Because now I'm trained so closely to be looking at the arm assist. And she does it just a smidge, but enough that I'll be like, oh, I hope that they continue to look at that. But it does seem like when Mark does his quad, he is indeed jumping from the legs, unless it maybe just looks different. But I'm excited because he is also like extension McGee.
Yes.
And then giving you really leggy quads already.
And they were coached by Hot Sergey up until this season.
Okay.
With all of that drama about Ken Hot Sergey coach, I mean, he was developing these kids.
And they look developed in real ways.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, also, is Hot Sergey's sister the dance coach? Unclear, but maybe some Russians know, so I'm asking this for them.
Yeah, so my question was, who was with Danny G? So behind him, there was this very tall, artificially orange, over-tanned gentleman in like a camel coat that was tall with dark, long hair.
hair shaggy to like here.
Yes, yes.
That's the shady doctor.
Ah, so the doctor is on call at the stands.
Why is he always behind them?
He's not a dermatologist because
He's
a
the one that was
dermatologist wouldn't do
rumored,
that to
I
this
believe, maybe Europeans, when an ice dancer got in trouble. Like,
Okay. God.
I don't know why he needs to be at the board. I don't know.
Yeah, it was like a whole little posse there. And
It's just always strange to me. I'm like, Dr. Larry Nasser at the boards? Like, I don't know, like, what is happening, right?
Exactly. Exactly. Strange.
I don't know. The fact that he has an Instagram account where he posts selfies with the skaters just makes the hairs on my arm stand up. And it's just like, look at him. Why is he always around?
Right.
Eye on that situation. What's this?
Yeah, for real.
Right?
For real.
Yeah. There's unusual about it. The Russians are gonna be like, you don't like Russia, you don't like. No, I just don't understand why is he there?
Right. Why is that a necessary personnel? Yeah.
Well, I don't think regardless. Like, let's say that there was something untoward. I don't think you would do it in plain sight. Like, that's
Right.
not.
Exactly.
So
Right.
I literally don't know why is the man there. It doesn't make a lot of sense to me.
Yeah, and it's very present. Like,
is he trained in CPR? Like, I don't know. Like, what is the thought process?
Also then, this competition we watched in Japan.
Yes.
With Rika. This is so fascinating to me. So we've got the Matrix program from last year. Kaori. I said Rika. I'd love to see Rika's program, but have not seen Rika's program.
Because the competition Team Champari, or whatever you say.
Fini. When Kaori is doing the Matrix program, I understand that they probably wanted to give her, like we mentioned, terror music, this kind of like driving, edgier look. I gotta tell you, it really drags on for me, especially the second
Matrix
time
program?
around. Yeah, and it should be like this exciting, edgy thing, but yet somehow it drones. And then, so the answer for the short program is a much more lyrical situation that masks a little better, but yet also sort of misses the mark, because I think there's something in between those two that they need to give her, because man, when she whips around the ice, the speed is incredible, the deep knees are incredible, but just overall it falls flat for me, and she's not someone who should be falling flat.
She's got a kind of skater where the Matrix program misses the Isabella Tobias, Wakaba Higuchi Ban program, where the person is singing at the end. And I don't think that exists in the Matrix, but that's what it's missing for me, where we're soaring in the second half.
Yeah, like a release moment, and then it's just like till the finish. Yeah.
No, after you see Russia, where they really do up skating, even when there's no crowd there, the Japanese competitions feel a little bit sad to me, but they're being more responsible. But they don't dress up the rink the same way, and they're not.
Oh, dear Lord, they could have at least painted it. It looked like they just had like the roughest hockey team like scuff up everything for years, and then they just left it. I was like, that's like a paint job thing you should just be doing anyway.
So this makes me nervous about skating. Like, if Japan isn't sprucing it up when they usually have the most beautiful rink of all time with the lighting at the Japanese Nationals, the Japan Open, NHK. What is happening? What's going on? Are we just saving money? What is the situation there? I don't know.
Yeah.
Are the sponsors not investing because we don't have Shoma Uno and Yuzuru Hanyu competing, or Enrique Kihira? There was also a link of Lambiel coaching. It was in French, but I noticed we didn't see a lot of Rika or Shoma, because they're like probably like the Trusovas that are like, don't show me on camera. So we did see Paganini.
Dennis.
Yeah.
So I
don't know, but interesting that.
Indeed. Yeah, what he's doing there is very intriguing to me. It's just sad we don't have a vehicle to watch it play out.
And do they have like diva juniors? Like, do they have a Mark Lukin and an Adelia Petrosyan like coming up? I don't know.
Right. Or does that now come with the subsequent seasons that everyone starts to get on board there? But it's exciting to have like a European center that's not Russia churning out all of these champions.
Oh my God, there was this girl at the rink. I was putting on my skates and she's like next to me talking to this boy. The boy looks like so sheltered and they're like a little like duo that they're like besties at the rink. And she was explaining to him that she's a TikTok star and that her latest video got like 400,000. She's like, but that's not that much on TikTok. I was learning more about social media from this girl. I was like,
she was like, done it. I have a student, she's like TikTok famous. And I was like, okay, whatever. And then I found that she's got like 1 million followers. And I was like, oh, that's a thing.
Right. So she's like, people ask me for shout outs on my TikTok. And I'm just like, no, sorry. And I was like,
brutal.
People ask me for shout outs all the time. And I'm like, let's try not to read this message. Like,
yeah.
Well, here's the thing. People always want shout outs on Instagram. But Jonathan, skating fans, especially some of our followers, are the most intense,
right,
most critical skating people of all time.
You're opening that door to that kind of over assessment. Yeah.
It's a better policy if we pick the videos, right? Like it's a curated account and it's
happy to help if possible, but like, again, if you post like some junior trying a triple axel and it's a quarter under, get ready for 300 comments of people proud to say that they can tell it's under.
And then they'll be like, well, why do people only comment what's under when the Russians are doing it? Well, the Russians perfected an art of social media jump warfare where we're like, it's like Blushenka versus Atari. Every time he posts one, she posts one, like back and forth. And then Atari's Team Two Breeds account was taken down. And there's a rumor that it's over a document that was like a legal document for an award that was photoshopped, like Kosternaya's name out of it. I don't know. Something's going on. Who the heck knows? There's something going on. Listen, Instagram, Mark Zuckerberg, the Team Two Breeds account gives us so much joy and life.
Look past whatever the issue was. Yeah.
We have a reconciliation, like Catholic Mass.
And who reported it?
Please forgive the Terry.
We're waiting for the next post. Yeah.
Come on, now we have like a fake Team Two Breeds with 2 E's at the end.
Right.
Now, what is she gonna have to restart her reign on social media from nothing? Do you know who she is? Do you have any clue? We are just lucky to be in her presence. Okay.
Exactly. Maybe she moved over to TikTok. No shout outs.
The fact that like the last 2 posts on her social media were Kosternaya leaving and her shading Medvedeva, and then Medvedeva coming back and she never deleted the old post.
The proof is in the pudding.
Okay.
Yeah. Amazing.
Love. Like, absolutely. Next topic of conversation.
Tell me.
So the Delilah situation.
Ah, yes.
We get emails that allegedly there's an investigation going on and there may be like tears at the rink.
And to be clear, she moved from Colorado Springs to Monument.
Yeah.
And this has all been playing out in Monument now, when we're talking
Yes.
about people fleeing Monument. Not
But there were situations of like TJ maybe getting in trouble for kicking the ice or something and getting kicked off and drama and just lots, right?
Sideswiping Christopher Dean.
Whatever that, I forget the exact story, but something happened with Christopher Dean, right? Something happened where TJ tried to upend Christopher Dean, right? That legend. People talk.
Know thy place. Yeah.
So, think about this. The USFS asked the top teams to leave. But those skaters are always the most protected. What about the younger kids?
Do you mean most protected from whatever behavior is happening, or they're just trying to get those top teams out to avoid any affiliation with a scandal?
Well, there's that. But think about skating's all based on hierarchy. When someone like more famous or more successful comes in, people kind of like naturally like back away, like they're unapproachable. And that's one of the problems with skating is that like not everyone is equal. But why isn't the kid that is like 12 years old and trying to get a partner as protected as someone that's on the senior Grand Prix? Is not the 12-year-old like as potentially
perhaps
vulnerable?
the most vulnerable and not someone who's in their 20s and established as a competitor? Yeah.
No. Like very strange, right?
Right.
Should there ever be lawsuits? Popcorn. Who knew what when? Coughlin response, like what was happening?
And that was the point you were always trying to make was, and same when we were talking about a lot of the, like the documentary that came out about gymnastics and Dr. Nasser and all this sort of stuff. Sometimes people make it about an isolated incident, but if it's a culture that's infected the thing from the top down, it's everywhere. It's
Nick Moyer coached at the same rink as Richard Callahan. What has he possibly overlooked for years?
Right. It's, and talk about systemic, you know? Yeah. Totally. Well, again, back to something as horrifying as that Svetlana Horkina interview, where they're like, yeah, it's what it is. Get with the program. And you're like, I don't think that's right. I don't think it has to be this way.
Makes me real nervous.
Yeah.
It's just, yeah.
Yeah. That the other shoe will drop soon, you feel, on that whole.
I mean, it takes
situation.
so long with Safe Sport. Who knows? These situations drag on and on. And then someone had a good point that if they start uncovering more stuff, it just leads it to take a longer situation, right? As this goes on.
More people to interview, more areas to visit. Yeah.
That's a hornet.
Does it go? And we know, unfortunately, it goes deep.
Yeah.
So.
Possibly. Yeah, well, I don't know. What was your moment of the week, Jonathan? Of all
Oh my gosh. Well, okay, so coming up, something to look forward to. Now we're into stage 4, which again, what an unfortunate way to create terminology for these things. Because even on YouTube, when I was looking up certain skaters and I put stage 3, because I've been getting, a different stage or whatever, it's all of these like cancer suggested videos. And I was like, no, I'm not looking that up. I'm trying to just look at a 12-year-old from Russia to his program. Thank you very much. Okay, so this is going to have Kostranaia in it this week. Mm-hmm. Do we know who else?
Like a lot of pair teams, but really it's all about Kostranaia.
It's all about Kostranaia, and then we'll look to the pairs. Okay.
Let's be honest. If the camera is just on Kostranaia the entire time,
we're fine with it. We've got a lot of time to make up there.
Packet, like who knows?
All the things, yeah. I'm gonna say my moment of the week is still okay, because there are a few here. Could be Kolyada. Maybe it's Kolyada's Lutz toe, the quad Lutz triple toe from the practice, but literally just watching every hand placement, even in a free program that went a little awry towards the end, he cannot hit an unbeautiful position.
Yes.
So I'm still going with him. Although to see Mark and Petrosyan do so well at the junior level was also very encouraging to see.
Yeah, I mean, it was a well-rounded week. We had a lot going on. I think seeing Shoma Uno skate again, but Nathan and Kolyada, like the combo deal of what is coming down the pipeline is very exciting. And yeah, I don't know. It was a harder week because it had a darker vibe of like, is this stuff happening? It feels like we have like an every other week situation, with this being usually, Lila, Fear and Gibson doing.
Oh my gosh, Dave, this was outstanding.
Where first I was focused on him, and then I realized, oh my God, she's the tissue box. And I thought, brilliant.
So he's doing Hanyu, he's in the purple outfit, and he's like, squatting by the boards, and she's just laying on the ring side, which is so hilarious. And then he shoots out to start, but it's a little unfortunate because he definitely cuts off an ice dance team that was like right in the middle of a moment. But it's the ending when he finishes the spin and does it, and then she slides in on her stomach as the Pooh Bear. Like these are people you want to hang out with.
These are our people. Come on.
They just did it. They just did
everyone loves them. They're like Zdilana, okay? At the Villa Giacarna. Oh my God.
As they say.
Oh my goodness.
That is a good moment of the week. That's excellent.
Yes. It warmed.
But her, I want to be her, just like sliding in on her stomach at the end.
And next week we're going to start, people keep asking, are we going to cover Battle of the Blades? Yes, we were busy this week. We will be catching up, and don't worry, we will get into Battle of the Blades and maybe a little Ice Age. Elena did like Farukas like this week. She was being Tessa Virtue with a freaking fan this week.
Okay.
Not as good as I would have hoped. I think it could have had more drama. The judges
more fan action needed. Okay.
Besmianova gave her 2 6s. Loved it. Okay.
Besmianova, amazing.
But yeah, I don't know where Mishin wasn't there this week. I don't know where he was. They film it in advance, so. I don't know.
You know what? I think Besmianova probably has a favorite outfit this season, and it's Hubble's short dance, rhythm dance. I feel like that's a very Besmianova kind of outfit.
I have to say this week, do you ever get stuck on a program that you just like watch over and over and over again and like discover something new every time?
Absolutely.
I've gone back to a program I used to rewatch every night before bed 10 years ago.
Which one?
Klimova and Ponomarenko's 92 Olympic free. And then I even watched it the Europeans and the Worlds to like notice the subtle differences.
Mm-hmm.
What a flippin' masterpiece. I can't even tell you.
They threw in the kitchen sink on that one, right?
Oh my God. Like,
yeah.
It even goes down to left and to right and then up to left and right. And oh my God, it is like I just feel like Tarasov in spring, you know, when I'm watching.
Amazing. Did you know, I was, as a kid who was like always obsessed with the weird sides of things, I thought they did it right because they had the bronze from Sarajevo, which I thought were very cool looking medals because they were the square.
Don't tell that to Judy Bloomberg.
Oh, yeah. Yikes.
I do feel the guilt when I watch them. I do feel the guilt, right?
I do, because I'll tell you what, when Judy did that thing where she slides down Michael like that in the Scheherazade, it was a real moment. However, that aside, then she went to Calgary and got her silver medal, which was sort of a traditional looking medal. But then remember, weren't they all Lalique medals, or were they Baccarat medals?
They were beautiful.
For Albertville with all the crystal on the outside. So I was like, she's got the best combination of medals of all.
And they looked amazing. They looked like Ursula the Sea Witch. And oh my God. And the man.
Yeah.
It was a very drag performance, very Tarasova.
Very extra, very extra.
She's up on him and she's like, and then we're down, and then we're wrapping ourselves in a great.
That reach up was everything. It just had every emotion attached to it.
Oh my God, it is the most
borderline desperation, but it worked.
Oh my God, when he's in the spread eagle and he's like feeling himself, and she's.
And you know what's, at the time I was kind of into the Duchesnays. There was a part of me that was more that, you know me, I'm a sucker for a French dance team. Like, there was something edgy about them. But
he was doing all the work and she was having all the attitude.
Fine. Just how I liked my dance team.
Christopher Dean could each have a reality show. I'm into them. I get it.
Yeah.
He loves the diva, so do I.
Exactly.
I understand.
So much of they, yeah.
I mean, I didn't know that I wanted to see a free dance of Maria and Bernardo, but the Duchesnays told us that we did, okay?
And we got one, yeah.
Who knew Bernardo was such a star? Where are they now? They used to coach Andrew Crabb in Florida at one point in time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't know. Very, just rewatch. Someone needs.
I'll go back.
We need to get like a 92 ice dance. I think we need to do like a full 2-night competition of like the top 4 teams or something like with like 91 and 92. That needs to be like a Patreon judging together of like.
Yes.
There were no rules. So let's be really honest.
No.
Except there was like a rule about lifts, and Tarasova said, we're going to win.
That doesn't apply to us. Don't worry about it. Yeah. Because Usova and Julin were 3rd. Why don't I remember who was 4th?
It was Oksana Grishuk, Yevgeny.
Oh, I tried to forget. The only 4th place in my heart at Albertville was Tanya. That was the pewter to remember. So.
Oh my God. but yes, because I have like, I go back to like the Klimova program, Michelle's Dante's Prayer, at the US Open when she's telling us that her favorite colors are red and black and that she loves Harrison Ford movies because she feels like she's in the movie. And I'm like, why Harrison Ford, Michelle? But anyway.
Yeah, okay. Amazing.
Hold an edge of the, oh, and if you're on See Alive, tonight we're interviewing Keegan Messing. So very exciting.
Oh, how lovely. That is lovely.
I think I need to apologize to him because I realized I'm triggered by a Chaplin program. I just like it so much that when I hear that music,
when I have a disproportionate response to something about skating, I feel like this is probably about something in the past, not the present.
People keep Chaplin programs forever. And it's always that same da 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 da.
But he actually is charming, and a lot of times they're giving a Chaplin program to someone they don't find charming, so it seems like they're charming.
Remember Otis? It's not his fault that the Italian teams all love that music. Okay.
Right, it's true. Just smile.
Hold an edge, it looks sexy, everyone.
Bye, guys.